Hey everyone, I wanted to give you instructions for science class today, and this is what you need to watch first is this video. So you're going to have 3 assignments that you're working on in class in this particular order. The first one is the genetics quiz 2 reflection and corrections. This will show up on your upcoming for Friday. If you open this up, all right, the directions tell you to open your quiz on Schoology and complete the attached Google form. Answer thoroughly. Points may be added to your quiz score up to a certain max. So it's going to be kind of layered depending on what your original score was. So just don't worry about that max score. But the reflection here, when you open this up, okay, this is what you're filling out. It's a little bit different. So you've got some questions to answer, and then you're going to fill out this chart. What did you get wrong and why you got it wrong? So I want you to be more reflective. It's not like, tell me what the correct answer is, because I'm about to go over the quiz with you and you're going to have the correct answers. I want more of your thought process, and I want you to think through why you got it wrong and what you got wrong and why you got it wrong. And I want to sort of see that growth. And if you need to add more rows here, you can. So that is the first assignment. Once you finish that, then the next thing you work on is antibiotic resistance article. And you open this, and the directions tell you that you need to read and annotate. Your annotations should be done in Kami and show careful, close reading, underlining, writing things off to the side, questions, and then there's questions at the end, and you submit it in Kami. I have it here. If you would rather do this on paper, the substitute will have copies on paper that you can do and just turn into the box. But when you open it up, this is what it looks like, and this is the article. You go through, and this is all about antibiotic resistance, which is an example of how bacteria have mutated their DNA to become resistant to antibiotics and why this is a problem. And the article kind of goes through and explains this. There's some graphs for you to read, some discussion, a conclusion, and then here are the questions 1, 2, 3, 4 that you're answering. So I will be looking for close, careful reading based on your annotations and the answers to your questions. You can do this in Kami and submit, or there is a hard copy for the sub. Well, the sub can give you a hard copy. Once you finish that, the third assignment is going to be DNA connection guided reading with textbook. Now, this also, everything can be accessed digitally. You could do the guided reading here. The textbook pages are scanned right here. So if you don't finish this in class, there is no need to take a textbook home. When you click this, it is going to look like this. These are the pages in the textbook that go with this handout. The handout, hold on one second, looks like this. Okay, and there's a hard copy, and then you can come get this from my lab desk, near my desk. If you would rather do it electronically, it's attached there as well. So that's number 3. If you perhaps finish and you still have time, the instructions are going to be for you to either work on the study guide I gave you. I know it's optional, but it is going to be helpful. You should have already gotten that. I gave that out in class on Wednesday. If you perhaps lost it, there's a copy, on Schoology, or I have some extra hard copies in class. And then also the GimKit review, which is posted on the GimKit Classroom and on Schoology. It is also optional, but you can work on that. So you should have plenty to do. Now, I want to discuss the quiz. So you can open up your quiz right now and kind of look as I go over it, or you can just watch me go over it and look at your quiz later. But I want to kind of go through each question with you. So this is the first question. And there's really nothing for me to go over. You've seen this before in at least 2 assessments, an understanding check and genetics quiz 1, just basic vocab. So I changed nothing about this question. Question 2. So this one, you should know. We did all of the Punnett squares for Mendel's crosses in the Punnett square probability and heredity notes. You have them in your notes. We've talked about them multiple times in class. And if you got this Punnett square wrong, it likely affected those first 3 questions. So I want to walk through it. You should have known, we talked about his first cross was tall plant, short plant, and his results were they were all tall. This led, his entire experiments with the different traits of pea plants. So you would have set up your Punnett square as big T, little t, little t. You should have at least known that the short plant had to be little t, little t. Some of you might have been wondering, is it big T, is it big T, little t? hopefully you kind of went through some logic here. If you made it big T, little t, you would have known that the result would be a possibility of a short plan, and that is not what he got. So this is a correct Punnett square, and this is the outcome. So how many total genotypes? So in this Punnett square, there's always 4 possible outcomes, but notice they're all the same genotype, big T, little t. So your answer is 1. The second question, how many different phenotypes? These are all tall. So the answer to that one is also 1. Question 4 says choose all of the following that are true about this cross. Okay, about this cross. So is it true that all the offspring were heterozygous? Yes, they're all big T, little t. Were they all tall? Yes. Was the recessive trait hidden? Yes, because they all were a carrier. They all carried a little t. Were 25% of the offspring short? No. Question 5, some people were confused about the setup. You had to do a little bit of problem solving, a little bit of digging to get the genotype of the parents. Brown hair is dominant over blonde. So this tells you right now blonde is recessive, so that you should be thinking little b, okay, for the female. A heterozygous male, heterozygous, big B, little b. So he has brown hair, but it is he's a heterozygous genotype. He's a carrier for blonde. So this is his, this is hers. You run your Punnett square, and you're going to get big B, little b, or little b. So the only answer, they will all have brown hair? No. 50% have blonde? Yes. 25% have blonde? No. 0 have brown? No. So your only answer is B. Next Punnett square, both heterozygous. How many different phenotypes? So it doesn't matter what the trait is. You carry at least one dominant letter, you're going to have the dominant phenotype, just like in alien baby genetics. So 1, 2, 3 are both dominant. This is recessive. So how many phenotypes? It's 2. Using the same Punnett square where both parents are heterozygous, what percent of the offspring are recessive? Right here, 25%. This was a challenge question. Okay, and codominant means they're both expressed. It doesn't mean that one dominates. So you can have red chickens, you can have white chickens, you can have half red, half white. FR, red chicken. FR, FW, half red, half white. FW, FR, half red, half white. FW, FW, all white. So completing that, you just do your crosses just like normal. You just have like almost like an exponent here. It's a superscript. So of these choices, there are 3 genotypes. Well, this is 1 genotype. This is 2 genotypes. And then this is 3. That is true. But I would still go through and see, do any of the others make sense? They will all be half red and half white. No. There will be no white chickens. No. There are 2 possible genotypes. No. So this is your correct answer. All right, if parent is big B, little b for a trait, there's a greater probability that big B is passed on. We talked about this several times in class. And in the alien baby genetics, think about it. When you flipped the coin, was there a greater chance that it would land red over yellow? No. This is all based on probability. So if a parent is big B, little b, there's a 50-50 chance on which allele is passed on to the offspring. Do a Punnett square and look at it. So this is false. The more data I collect, the closer my data will be to the predicted outcome. This is true. Directly in your notes of probability and heredity, this is a mathematical principle of probability. If a rabbit has black fur, then the black fur is its phenotype. Big B is homozygous. And then you've seen this before. Okay, letter A is pointing to our phosphate, B is our sugar, and C is our nitrogen base. So hopefully that helps you in what you will do, for your first assignment is, you're going to go over your quiz. And again, it's not about telling me the right answers. It's more about your thought process. Why did you get it wrong? Don't just say, I didn't understand, but really be reflective. I'm really going to read these, and your ability to reflect and really think through this process is what's going to determine the points that you get back on the quiz. It's not just about finding the right answers because I've given you the right answers. So it's more about understanding why you got it wrong and checking that understanding and kind of making the switch in your brain. So if you have any questions, you can message me on Schoology. I had to take my daughter to the doctor dealing with a medical issue there. So that's why I'm not here. The test is Wednesday. And on Tuesday, when you see me next, we will be reviewing. We're actually going to do a genetics escape room. Yay. Y'all have a great weekend.